Welcome to the First Lady Point of View show, everyone. I'm your host, the First Lady Felicia K. This is where you can expect culture, music, news, reviews, fashion, and exclusive interviews. So stick around. We got an exclusive that you don't want to miss.
You tuned in. It's the First Lady Point of View. First Lady Point of View. You tuned in. It's the First Lady Point of View. First Lady Point of View. Culture, music, news, reviews. You tuned in. It's the First Lady Point of View.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. We got a special guest in the building that I've been trying to get in for quite some time. She's doing great things in the community. We have none other than Miss Lisa.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you for coming. Tell everybody where you're from, first off.
I'm from South Sac, Meadowview to be exact.
Okay. Woohoo. All right. Now, tell everybody exactly what is Kicks for Kids.
So Kicks for Kids, it was designed to help, especially during the pandemic. Once the pandemic hit, started seeing like a lot of need for help in the community. And prior to that, you know, I do also work with artists, and so I throw shows. So every year since I've been throwing shows since about 2010, we've always had, you know, pretty much where the artists would donate toys, clothes, and all that type of stuff like that. But it wasn't like on a huge scale like that.
Right.
And so I decided in 2020, once the pandemic hit, like there's something that we need to do. Like we can't wait on the government. We can't wait on other people to make something happen. So I put on Facebook, I was like, you know, I've always wanted to, since I was a kid, pull up, you know, to Meadowview specifically, like G Parkway.
Yeah.
You know, where those townhouses are at. I always wanted to pull up there, even though I'm not like from that actual area. I wanted to pull up there and like, you know, just have a U-Haul truck full of shoes and just give it away to the kids that were in need, because my aunt lived in that area. We were literally like down the street, because I'm like, where my mom lived at was Meadowview and Brookfield.
Okay.
So it was literally at the cut there. So I knew that area needed it, and so that's always just been my dream, is to, you know, pull up, like I said, in my community and just give away free shoes, because I grew up in a household of 4 children.
Okay.
And so we all had to, you know, our mom struggled, so we always figured out ways to make it easier on her by selling candy, by, you know, selling pictures and doing, you know, just having our own hustle, selling CDs and stuff. So that's how that kind of started. It's number one, from having to struggle, and then number 2, from just wanting to give back, because that's something I was taught.
Okay, so you said you knew as a kid you wanted to, like, I just want to pull up like Santa Claus and.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Miss Frank Lucas. I heard that. That's what's up. So exactly, well, you just told us what made you start it. When you started it, was it hard though to get it off the ground, or did you just go in just full stream ahead?
It's crazy how easy it was. It's crazy to say that, but I put it on Facebook, and so many people were like, I'll help, like, I'll donate, I'll go to the store right now and get some shoes. And so it started with my bro, Dale Anthony Bradford.
Okay.
He was the first person to go out to Foot Locker and start getting, like, plethora of shoes. Like, he was getting like 12, 24, 36 pair of shoes, Fila's, you know, just whatever, you know, was hot or whatever. Because the thing about it is we can't necessarily afford Jordans, because we're going in our own, you know, going into our pockets.
Right.
At the moment, and so we were just like, you know, if the kids need them, they'll take them, right?
Right.
So he started off getting, you know, those Fila shoes. They were like $12, $15, and then other people started pouring in from there, because he took a picture, I posted it, and, you know, thanked him, and then more people started pouring in. Hey, I'll go grab some more shoes too. So it ended up. The Foot Locker staff, a lot of them started buying shoes for the kids.
Wow.
12, 15, 18 pair, because they're like, oh, you guys are doing it, like, this is really something big.
Yeah.
And so it got to the point to where the district manager of Foot Locker was like, why are all these people keep coming in and buying shoes for Kicks for Kids? What is this?
Yeah.
And so we had a meeting with him, and we explained to him, you know, why we wanted to do this. And he was like, say no more. I'm going to bring you guys like 150 pair of shoes the day of the drive. So I'm thinking like, yeah, right. Like, you know, I don't have like a nonprofit set up, you know, at that time. So I was just like, I don't know if this is really going to happen. You know, It just seems too good to be true. But lo and behold, we're, you know, getting everything together for the event, because I actually teamed up with a group called Dad League.
Okay.
And it's a bunch of dads, and they have basketball games every Saturdays, usually during the spring and the summer. And so they were having a huge tournament. So I'm like, the kids are going to be there, so why not? You know, and it would be dope for dads to be able to, you know, their kids to come and give their brand new shoes to kids. And a lot of these guys that come to those tournaments are single fathers. So I was like, why not? You know, so we were setting up. Foot Locker comes, and I was answering my phone. Literally, I start seeing boxes being dropped off because the guy, he wasn't dressed like in his Foot Locker clothing. He was just like regular sports clothes. So I'm like, hey, who are you? And he's like, I'm the one that you, it's like, you don't realize me? I'm like, no, you got the hat. You look, kind of different. And so, I thanked him or whatever, but it ended up turning out to be, we had about 400 pair of shoes that time.
Okay.
And so, like I said, all the shoes were pretty much donated or it came out of our own pockets. And then from there, it just grew to people seeing from that first event, they're like, how can I give? How can I? Yes, for sure. And a lot of people don't know, but a lot of the local artists, reached out, like the Gatlin, like Cali Streets.
Okay.
Those two in particular are really serious about giving back, and they giving back on a huge scale. Not only that, but just letting other people know what we have going on. And so, I definitely wanted to put that out there that,
No.
For sure.
I'm big on that.
Yes.
So when you go out into the community, do you just do the South, like Meadowview,
No,
or have
so
you
that's
guys
the thing.
started moving around?
Yes, so we do every area. So we start off in South Sacramento, and then we moved to Grant.
Okay.
We went to Grant High School, and that one was crazy because we actually were able to get 1,000 pair of shoes that time. And so, again, thank God, my brother Dale, he's huge on, making a statement, I guess you could say. So he's like, I'm going to start off. I always have to start off by buying, X amount of shoes, and that's what gets people momentum going. And he had a store in Arden Mall. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of easy for us to promote it. Like, hey, if you want to drop off something, drop it off at his store. And so in addition to the shoes, people start asking, hey, can I donate clothes? Can I donate backpacks? Can I donate school supplies? So I started thinking, well, we could start separating these drives, depending on what time of year it is.
Right.
And then also toys. And so, like I said, we went to Grant. Then we did another one on Florin Road. Where else? We've done one in the Highlands area at Impact Sac. I think we did about 2 over there. So we're pretty much trying to touch every area. We did one in Oak Park at my home church, St. Paul.
Okay.
And so, and that's another reason too why I do what I do is because when we were younger, we had to give back.
Yeah.
We had to go to convalescent homes and sing and stuff like that. So
yeah, our churches are sisters, St. Paul and Trinity.
Oh yeah. For
I
sure.
go to Trinity. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, as far as when you said that's your brother helps you, right?
My brother Dale, yeah. So he's not my blood brother, but yeah.
Yeah. So as far as when people go, they can donate at his store?
Well, he used to have a store in Arden Mall, but now there are 3 locations where you can donate. Jessica Lee Studios, which is Elk Grove.
Okay.
And then also the Stylish Stoner Boutique, which is KD. You can donate at his location or Impact Sac as well, which is in the Highlands area. So we try to find different, locations throughout the city because there's so many people from different areas that want to give back. And so we also take like used shoes as well, used clothes, as long as it's clean and, gently used.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So do you ever have a situation where you don't have enough?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so as it got bigger, especially the Grant event, we didn't expect for it to be that big.
That's good. It's not good that you didn't have enough, but it's good to see that people
for sure
are interested and they want,
Right. And so that kind of, hurt me, because it's just like you don't want to see people have been waiting in line since 10 o'clock that day. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, you don't want to see people that have had to wait and kids that truly needed it, but thank God we were able to get a lot of people's contact information and make sure that we followed up with them, make sure that their child was able to receive a pair of shoes. And thankfully that winter, Foot Locker contacted me and said, hey, we want to give you some free gift cards. So choose a few families. So I was able to choose a few families, go to Foot Locker and allow them to, have a shopping spree based on like just $150 or so, but it helped them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Wow, that is so good, man.
Definitely.
So I know it's rewarding, right? I don't even have to ask that because you talk about it with so much passion. Like,
yes.
I know that's crazy that you just said, okay, I'm gonna just pull the trigger on it. I've been wanting to do it. I'm gonna pull the trigger on it. Have you had like any major setbacks though throughout your process?
Yes, I think one of the setbacks would be, or a learning thing for me was to understand that even though you can't help everybody, at least you're helping somebody.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, if people see that you're doing it from the heart, they understand like, hey, I get it. You can't help everybody.
Right.
And a lot of times, like I said, we'll stay in contact with those families, tell them to come to the next drive. And so, nowadays I don't really let it get to me.
Yeah. So, do they have to get on a wait list to come, or when you announce the drive, it's just first come, first serve?
Yeah, so it's first come, first serve.
Okay, so it's not like they gotta sign up.
We tried a sign up process at St. Paul, and it just was hectic because people just expected, like, because I RSVP, that I'm going to receive a pair of shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
So, that's the issue there. But we learned to just do first come, first serve. And then if a family's not able to be served, sometimes we have people on site that are like, hey, what do you need? They'll get the contact information from that person and then follow with them to make sure that they get some shoes or clothes, whatever that case may be.
Okay.
But no child really leaves with nothing, because we have free haircuts. We also have free feed and braids and free styles, also free clothes. So if you don't get a free pair of shoes, you get free clothes.
Okay.
Or if you don't get a backpack, you get school supplies. So we try to make sure that children leave with something. So based on the crowd outside, we kind of determine we may have to kind of split up the items that we receive so that everybody leaves with something.
That's good though. At least you figured out, like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Yeah,
right.
But that, you said you come from a family, you have it's 4 of you.
Yes, 4 of us.
So,
yes.
we know how to make it work.
Oh, yeah.
It's 4 of us as well.
Right.
So I get it.
Also listening to the community too, and even though we're coming out of our own pockets to do it, listening to their concerns about the events and how we can make it better too. Not being so gung-ho. It's like, oh, I'm doing this out of, I'm good doing this out of my pocket. How dare you tell me? I'm actually listening to the community and their needs and what they want. And so I think that's very important.
Good. Okay, now, when people come out, do they get pushy, or they just kind of?
They used to, but now they don't.
Okay.
And I think because we kind of reiterate throughout the drive, because my fiance, he's also a DJ, so I have the mic all the time just reiterating to people, hey,
keep them calm.
Be patient with us. We're single. I mean, I'm not single parents, but we're parents as well, just like you guys struggling, and we're just trying to help. That's all we're trying to do, and that usually kind of calms people down. Sometimes my mother is there, or older people there, kind of being like, hey, calm down now, and tell them like, do I need to pray for you, or something to kind of relieve them so that they're not feeling too much tension. Also, too, I have a great team that works with me, and they're constantly just checking on the people that are waiting in line. Do you need water? Do you need something to eat? If somebody's in a wheelchair, let's see if we could try to make it work to where they don't have to stay in line that long. To where other people won't get offended by that.
Yeah. So I know you're a mommy.
Yes.
You have 2 little ones. Do they ever go out with you and you teaching them early the importance of giving back? Okay.
Yes. So they've been involved since the gate, and so it's a blessing because they tell everybody, well, especially my daughter, she tells everybody about Kicks for Kids, and hey, I give back shoes, and clothes to kids that are in need. She really loves that, and she. I could see that she's going to do the same thing, when she gets older. Yeah,
that's good.
For sure.
So when people want to get involved, do you advertise it in advance?
Yes.
As far as not the people to come get the shoes, the donations.
Yes.
Do you advertise that in advance, or is there like a site that they could go to and hook up with you to let you know that they want to donate? How do they get in contact with you if they want to donate?
Sure. So they can. You can go to my website, elisaentertainment.com. Also, every day, for the most part, I try to promote Kicks for Kids. And so throughout the year, I'm just posting every day on how I'm looking for people to get involved, people to partner, people to sponsor, or just volunteer their time. And, also, too, we contact like seniors and high schools and stuff like that, so where they can get community service hours as well. Yeah. So we try to figure out a way to make it work out, and it ended up being parents asking me like, hey, can my child volunteer for community service? It's like, why not? And they end up having fun. They end up coming back and helping out, no matter if it's in the South, no matter if it's in the North area. So it's a blessing.
You got this thing figured out, Queen. It's going to be an inspiration to somebody watching. Before we go to a break, I want to ask you one more thing.
Yes.
So is it now official a nonprofit?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
yes.
And it's not an LLC, it's a nonprofit.
Yes.
So that's good to know.
And
that's
so
good to know.
even it was a blessing though, because from the gate, my brother Dale, he had a nonprofit. So even though I didn't have a nonprofit number, they were still able to write their tax returns based on his nonprofit. Because he pretty much was buying all the shoes. He would get the funding for it. I would send it to him, and then he would just pay for all the shoes and stuff like that. So they were able to, like, KD. He's one person that, he donated. I remember we did an event at Mack Road, Valley High Community Center, and the kids were picking up the pants. They're like, these pants are $100. Are you sure they're free? And I'm like, yes, they're free. And Katie's telling him like, man, yeah, they're free. Because I guess he was closing his store. But it was just dope to see, I didn't even know he had a $150 pair of, pants out there and shirts out there. So it was a blessing for sure.
Yeah, that's what's up. You guys, we got a break coming up, but make sure you come right back. We're going to get more into it. And we're going to talk about a little bit more with Miss Lisa. We're going to talk about her being a promoter as well. You probably didn't know that, but she also dabbles in entertainment. We'll be right back after this.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. I know you're going through a lot. wonder if you know that the big homie needs help too. He can't just rebound from everything. I know you've been grinding.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. I wonder why we waited so long. I'm not wondering anymore. Love, your mind. Let's see how far we can go.
First lady point of view. You tuned in.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. If you're just now tuning in, we have none other than Miss Lisa from Kicks for Kids. I want to ask you, what has been your greatest reward throughout this? Like, what so far? What has been like the thing that made you be like, man, this was really worth it for me?
I would say just the smiles on the kids' faces, and then also remembering me throughout the community.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'll go to like the Anthem Nights is like an event that I go to. It's a gospel type event. And, you know, I'll see kids there. I'll see kids just randomly in the streets and stuff. Like, hey, Mrs. Lisa, or I remember you from giving me these, you know, free pair of shoes. Or she's the one to give.
They'll always remember
right.
that, even
and that's
as an adult.
Right, and that's another reason why we do it, too, because, you know, the violence has definitely been crazy out here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you don't give to them, they're going to take. And, you know, when you give, they'll remember. And there was an incident one time where I was at a gas station, and a child was doing a little bit too much, you know what I mean? And when it came to me, and then somebody kind of intervened, it was another child that had been to one of my events.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, that's Miss Lisa. She gives away, you know, free shoes. Leave her alone, you know? And the kid kind of backed off. And so, you know, that just proved to me, like, okay, you know, I was right when I said that this is what we need to do in order to, you know, save the youth and show them that there's somebody that cares, that doesn't necessarily need to know them or know their name, know where they come from.
Okay. So where do you see Kicks for Kids 5 years from now? What does that look like to you?
We want to take it on the road. My fiance, he's from Stockton. Of course, we know Stockton is crazy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of issues out there. And so we just want to take it to areas that really need it. We're blessed to take it to Oakland, I want to say 2 years ago. I collaborated with Hometown Hero. He does the Barbecue While Black event in Oakland. And so we were able to give back to a middle school out there. So it was a blessing because those children really needed it. So that's why I see Kicks for Kids out in the future. It's just, you know, us traveling across, you know, the country and giving back to kids that really need it.
Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about you as a promoter. You originally started promoting. Do you still promote?
Yes.
You still do your events?
Yes.
Tell everybody a little bit about the events that you put on. It's the open mic night, right?
Yes, so it's All Things Indie Showcase. It used to be called Rock the Mic.
Okay.
And so it was designed because I actually started in the party scene throwing parties.
Okay.
So back when the hike movement, back when the pack was always out here and stuff like that, there used to be a group called Slap ENT, and we were called Eye Candy ENT. And so we started throwing these parties, but they wouldn't allow Sacramento artists to perform. It was always Bay Area artists.
Yeah.
And so I knew a few talented artists from Sacramento. I'm like, why can't we let them perform? And it got to a point to where, you know, they weren't hearing me. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start doing my own show. So I started doing my own shows at Silk and Pinkies. And then from there, I started working my way into clubs like Image, Blush, Center Court, and other venues like that.
Was it challenging, though, as far as trying to put together events for you in the beginning? I know now you can probably do it in your sleep, but was it challenging?
I learned how to get in the door. I would, you know, collab with other promoters like, hey, you know, let me rock with you. Like, let's put on a show together. And then that would kind of be my introduction to meet the owner of the venue.
Yeah.
And then 9 times out of 10, the owner would always see me kind of like handling most of the business, not drinking, not worried about being in the rappers' faces or the guys' faces.
That matter.
And really being about my business. And so they're like, she's a little bit different. And so I would ask them like, hey, what are your off nights? Can I book that? And they would end up giving me those off nights and seeing, you know, what we were producing and also the talent. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll let you do this every week. So it was a point where I was doing shows every week, like from 2009 to probably once I met my fiance, 2012. So we were doing shows every week. And from here to the Bay to LA to Nevada, so.
Yeah, okay. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but one of the things that's really stuck out to me about you as a promoter is you were the first promoter and I want to believe the only promoter to ever bring Nipsey Hussle
Yes.
to Sacramento. So that right there in and of itself is major, right?
Thank you, definitely.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how major that would be. It's weird because what happened was there's a guy named Trace Brent. He actually owns Impound Comics, and J Dave, and they actually put up the money for the event. And they didn't really know what they were doing. And so they called me and Elisa, we need help. Like, how do we throw this show? How do we put it together? And I'm like, say no more. Like, I got y'all. So I ended up putting like the set times together, ended up coming there early, telling them what needed to be done. And it ended up meeting Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah,
And I really, at that time, it's so crazy, I didn't even know his music, to be honest. Yeah, didn't know his music like that. But everybody was telling me like, you tripping. You need to be, you need to listen to him. So his performance was actually the first, songs that I've heard like ever from him. And then I went home and started listening to all his music. I'm like, this guy is really
good,
talented.
yeah.
And then to see him blow from there, and what stood out to me was there were people that bought tickets and there were people that were waiting in line, right? And the police came and said, only the people that bought tickets can come into this event. So he asked the promoters that were at the door, open the door, and he apologized to the people that couldn't come into the event and told them that, I'll try to come back to Sacramento, but he didn't have to do that, and I respected that.
Yeah, he
for sure.
was a solid dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as, you said it is called, it's not called Rock the Mic anymore. It's
Right.
called All Things Indie Showcase,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's highlighting independent artists.
Yes.
Not just from Sacramento, but Northern California.
Yes, ma'am.
In general.
Yes.
Okay. So how often are you holding those now?
So usually those are typically like every 3 months or so. And I've
Okay.
also started getting into, I'm going back to my roots. So I did a Christian event, a Christian hip hop event in November with Kiaja. She's booming right now. She's from IE.
Okay.
And so she ended up going viral because she did a freestyle to Kick the Sneak, That's My Word.
Oh,
And
like
she
gospel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Christian rap scene is definitely buzzing
Yeah.
right now. And it's so funny because when I grew up, there was a few artists that we loved, that came to St. Paul, like The Committee, and or the singers like Juanita Wynn. And so it's like, we really got talent out here, And so, like I said, the Christian music has just been booming. And then I started putting out there, like, who wants to open up? Found a lot of Christian artists. And from there,
You've
it was a
been
beautiful
doing
event.
that. That's separate, right?
Yes,
That's
well, it's still called All Things Indie, but we kind of separated.
Yeah,
like it's
from
only strictly Christian artists
okay.
for that, and then All Things Indie is open to anybody,
Yeah.
any genre.
I found out about an artist. Well, he's coming to the show, and I want to think that my first introduction to him was through one of your showcases. His name is Michael Thomas, I think.
Yes, Gospel Mike.
Oh my God, he is so.
Yes.
Oh,
And people used to make fun of me
Top
because I would
tier,
throw
okay?
him on my shows, and people were like, "Why are you got a gospel artist in the bar at the club?" And I'm like, "Because that's where
that's
people
where you
need to hear the
say
word."
something. You
And
know
yeah.
what? People don't get that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. People don't get that. You don't need to preach the word to a bunch of Christians. They
Right.
probably know it better than
Right.
you.
And if
right?
they don't get it by now and they've been in church for 30 years, they ain't
they
gonna
ain't
never
gonna get it, right?
Exactly.
I respect that. Yeah,
sure.
so I really like his music. He has a great personality.
Oh, yeah.
He's coming for season 4 as well, so I can't wait to have him on. I hope he can perform something while he's here as well. So the event, you said that you separate the events now.
Yes.
And you said you have them. I'm sorry, how often again?
So about every 3 months or so.
Okay.
So the next one is going to be April 25th.
Okay.
And that's going to be at Menifee Canvas Space. And then we also have May the 17th. And that's going to be with CJ. He's signed to Miles Minnick.
Okay, that's what I wanted you to get out there, is to promote that as well.
Thank
We're going to
you.
get it all while you're here.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you had to pick one, which one would you continue to do? I think I know this one. It was just on the card, but just talking to you and your passion and how you light up about the Kicks for Kids. If you had to pick one,
It would be Kicks for Kids.
I already knew.
Definitely.
I love you for that, Queen.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I wish you well, and I want you to continue, striving, and maybe other people will catch on and want to do the same thing as well. You've been grinding so long, Queen. It's just been awesome to watch your evolution, and I just hope God continues to bless you and pour into you so you can continue to pour into others, all right?
Thank you.
So I want you to tell everybody how they can get involved first off, let's do Kicks for Kids. Tell them how they can get involved, the website, what they need to do to get involved, and then tell everybody how they can get involved with the Indie Showcase. Okay?
Alrighty. So you can go ahead and log on to my website, which is ilisaentertainment.com, and then you'll see, if you click on the menu tab, you'll see Kicks for Kids, and there's also something that rolls across the page, which specifically says, if you would like to donate to Kicks for Kids, here's how you can do so. You can also follow us on Instagram, Kicks, 4, Kids Shoe Drive, spelled exactly how I said it. And if you would like to follow me on my personal pages, my personal handle on Instagram, Mrs. Lisa Lisa, or iLisa Entertainment. So you can just find me anywhere, Mrs. Lisa Lisa or iLisa Entertainment. And then Facebook, Elisa Scott, Elisa Scott.
Okay. So I got to ask you the same question about where do you see your promotion company 5 years from now?
I see it being much bigger because we actually started doing mobile travel DJ services through my fiance, and so I see us, just booking more gigs and stuff. It's been a blessing how many gigs we've been able to book within just the past 3 years, and so I could just see it, taking over and also bringing younger children up under our wings and possibly, creating 12 to 14-week programs to teach youth how to do what we do. And also to bring in people from Sacramento who are in the industry that people don't know about to pour into these kids and let them know you can be somebody coming from Sacramento.
Okay, that's what's up. I love that. One more thing before we go, because we're going to get ready to wrap up. I don't know if I asked you this already, but just in case, is there an age requirement for kids, Kicks for Kids? Do they have to, is there a cap age or?
Yes, so it's 0 to 18.
Okay, okay. So that's good to know as well. Well, once again, thank you for coming, and the doors are always open. You're always welcome to come back. If you got something new going on, you want to, come and talk about it, just let me know and we'll set it up.
Thank you.
You family now, Queen.
Yes, ma'am. Vice versa. Thank you for having me. I truly
appreciate it. We got to get Lance to come in here and do a set one night.
Oh,
maybe.
yes, definitely. Yeah. And thank you for what you do for everyone.
You.
You've been doing your thing for a long time.
I know, right?
So I'm
just
glad that I've finally been able to meet you. Definitely.
Me too. We're going to hook up.
For sure.
All right. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know I did. Make sure you guys tap in with Miss Lisa on all her social platforms. And nothing is too small. If you can afford to give anything to Kicks for Kids, do it. I'm telling you, you'll feel good about it in the long run. All right, so that's it for the kid. We're going to wrap it up. And guess what? We are in season 4 of the First Lady Point of View show. So I want to thank you all for rocking with the kid. And yeah, we're going to do it bigger and better. So until next time, peace, one love. May God bless your hustle. We're out of here, but make sure you reach back for those that are coming up behind you and pay homage to those who did it before you. It's free, and you'll feel good about yourself. See ya.
You tuned in. First Lady Point of View. First Lady Point of View. You tuned in. It's the First Lady Point of View. First Lady Point of View. Culture, music, news, reviews. You tuned in. It's the First Lady Point of View.